All right, good morning. It's 6:43, I should say. Cooler day today. We won't get out of the 30s. And you know what was interesting is it cooled off yesterday. I was out there with Hula Hoop, stacking cases of water. And I got to tell you, it was like 53 degrees when I came out the door yesterday morning early. And then it went down to about 50. And then by afternoon, it was back down to the lower 30s.
Yeah.
It was windy. It was a little cool. But it didn't stop our man Hula Hoop Fred over at Shenantries, where they ran out of water yesterday. The response was so huge, they ran out of water.
But they have it now, right?
They have it now.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Starting next week, we'll be doing a bottled water drive
For
South
Shenantries.
Utica.
Actually, we're going to be doing it for Shenantries. They'll be out of water. Okay, I want to get through this story here a little bit. We'll talk about it. And the Boilermaker, WIBX, in the midst of this big drive, there's a story in today's Observer Dispatch, which is really nice. And yesterday, UTR did it, and before that, it was Jolene, and they did a story on Katrina Smith did a story. That was in News Talk over the weekend. So it's nice to see all the members of the media coming together and kind of working on this and helping us in supporting it. But the response has been phenomenal, and our man Hula Hoop he doesn't spend the night there just because
Shenantries is closed.
They're closed.
They're closed. Yeah, and I don't want to see him spending the night there. I've done enough of that. It's not fun. So we put him up at a hotel, and then we bring him back out. It's like we bring him back out.
Yeah.
There he is, everybody.
All right, off your leash now.
Okay. So
Weekend at Shenantries. Yeah.
I want to know what you're thinking. I'd like you to call in and tell me what you would do. 7360186. So I'm told the money was already in the dispenser with the machine instructing you to take your change. So when this person walked up to the checkout, and it's the self-checkout, which I hate anyway, the self-checkout, he had his $70 worth of items, and as he walked up, the machine was saying, take your money. So the money was there. There was four $20 bills that were in the dispensary, would you call it? Dispenser. And the money was there. So it was, you know how it would sit there and kind of dangle down.
There's like a little tray, and there's a flap.
And maybe that's
over
how it was. Anyway, and the machine was saying, take your money. So this person took his money.
He said, thank you.
He took the $80, he set it aside, and completed his transaction, then looked around. There wasn't anyone there. Then walked to the service desk. There was no one there that seemed to have lost any money. So then he walked out of the store. Now, the question is that I would have for you, and I'd love it if people would kind of pipe in. I'd like to know what you would do. 7360186. What would you do? Do you keep the money? Do you return the money? Do you leave and then send a note to the there are a lot of different options, I guess. Or is it finders keepers? You found $80. Today is your lucky day. So what do you do? Andrew, you wanted to pipe in?
Here's the situation.
Oh, you're going to start out that way.
The guy was clearly the 8,000th customer, and that was the reward. $80.
That is the reward.
For every
That's a
1,000.
possibility.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Congratulations. Actually, if it was me, I'd be looking around saying, all right, where is Alan Funt?
Right.
Right? For those that don't remember
Candid
the Alan
camera.
Funt days.
what what I would say is anytime that you find money that's not yours, you need to claim it. Or you not claim it. You need to turn it in.
We see how he really feels. Oh, nice
Freudian slip there.
Would this be different if you were out in the parking lot? 7360186. If you were out in the parking lot and there was money on the ground and you saw it there, would it be different?
Any situation you need, I think it's karma-wise, you need to turn the money in.
Karma-wise.
Karma's big here.
Yeah.
But it also...
That's what
of all-
people were thinking when they were at Cruz or Trump last night.
Yeah,
Cruz
well,
or
I was
Trump?
going to say,
Karma-wise, I think I'm going to go
karma's
with...
a big deal. In other parts of the country, the Midwest, Jesus is a big deal.
Yeah,
so.
right. You're right. Jesus was a big deal in Ohio. It was. The religion played a big role in that. Anyway, so what would Jesus say?
Well, and I think what I would want to do is different than what I would actually do. Because I've been in that situation where you go to the bank and they give you more money and you're like, okay, no, here. And you give it back. And they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for your honesty. And you're hoping that they're going to go, here's $20 for your honesty.
Yeah.
And they
They
go,
never do that.
Thank you. The other thing is I've been in a situation where I turned in money before and it was obviously someone's grocery money. And I've also had my grocery money taken.
Yeah.
But I've turned it in and no one ever claimed it. So the store just kept it. And I'm thinking,
that happens too, yeah. And you'll
could've
find,
used that.
in a fast food place that does happen. I mean, if no one comes along, it ends up going into, each manager would
The
handle
tip
that
jar.
differently. With the tip jar, or it goes into the manager's pocket, or you just don't know. So in this case, the guys. So what do you think? 7360186. What would you do? What should this person have done? Huh?
If it goes in the manager's pocket or whatever, then the hole appears in their pocket and loses their wallet.
there you go, karma wise.
$25.
Ah, right.
I will say if it happened in this vending machine in our office, I would keep the money because I think
right,
we've all
yeah.
paid in
Can I
about
say it?
$90 worth of that.
I will disclose something that happened to me. You're right. I look at things that
This
way.
machine
that
owes
machine
us.
owes me a lifetime of cash. I've lost more money in that machine, and then I run down the hallway because what am I going to do? Imagine if I don't come back after the commercial break, and I'm standing down there saying, I know I'm supposed to be on the air, but it owes me $1. I can't do it. So by the time I get done, I forget about it. So I had a situation where I got home, and they hadn't charged me for like $5 item. So I'm like, all right, well, I probably should go back. But then I looked over, and sitting there on the dryer, which is just to the outside as we're leaving the house, was a bag from this very store. And inside the bag were blown light bulbs that I had purchased. And I just never got around to bringing them back. And I'm like,
Karma. It balances out.
yeah, there's the hole was in their pocket this time, Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what do you think, Joe?
I think also too, just really quickly, if the self checkout happens to not scan an item, that's the self checkout's problem.
Okay, but you're scanning it.
Well, no, yeah, you.
Whoever's on the phone is laughing right now at you because that
All of a sudden, the self
I
checkouts become
just
a person.
scanned it a
Hey,
little too quickly.
hey there, Johnny. That's your fault. Okay, Joe. What do you think here?
I think you should turn the money in because number one, I think legally you're supposed to. Number two, if you're in a major store, they're going to have cameras. And if the machine made a mistake, the store is going to come up short. They're going to go after you. More than likely, it was a person ahead of us that was supposed to take the money and took off.
No, Joe, the machine would then be fired if that was the case.
Machine
Well,
would be
let's-
fired. That's
let's
another
just-
reason for not using those
Right.
automatic. In my opinion, it's putting someone out of work, and you're doing the store's work
Yeah.
and not getting paid for it.
Exactly.
They give you a discount, maybe. But
Except-
I don't like it because I'm thinking it's putting some kid or
You're
some
right.
guy that needs or girl that needs a job.
Oh, no, that's not true, Joe. There's a
No?
woman, listen, what they do, the reason the stores have these self-checkouts is to humiliate us. That's why they're there.
Okay,
Because
I'll go along with that.
here's,
No,
here's
yes.
how it goes. You try to scan the item won't scan. The woman standing there looks like your computer tech at work and looks over at you like,
You're stupid.
hold on, just move out of the way. I'll show you how to do this. I mean, it's a humiliation.
Or
is what
put
it
the
is.
item in the bag. Put it in
put
the
it in
bag.
the bagging area.
Yeah.
It's in there.
You know who created the self checkout?
Yeah.
Somebody who used to be a cashier at Walmart, and people would say to him, "Get a real job."
Yeah, that's
so he
right.
said, "I'll show you.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
think it's so easy? You
Now
can't even
you
do it."
Joe, all right, I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you for the call.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
good stuff. Sandy, what do you think here?
I think that, regardless of what the law is, the moral thing to do is to give the money to somebody with authority in the store.
Okay, yeah, and to give and because obviously it's somebody's money. That's
And
your
not
feeling.
mine.
Yeah. All right, Sandy, and not your money. You're saying, okay, Sandy, thank you, and Fran over here, 7360186. What do you think, Fran?
Well, I was in a situation on Thursday. Well, I would turn the money in, but
You would.
I was in Aldi's in Ilion on Thursday,
Yeah.
and I had $100.05, and I had it wrapped up. And apparently, when I paid the cashier, that money fell out on the floor, and I was aware of it. So I went to my friend's house at least an hour and 45, 2 hours past and I went to Lowe's in Herkimer, and I reached for the money, and
it was gone.
there because I was going to go to the bank with that money.
Yeah.
So I called my husband, and I asked him if I left it home, and it wasn't at home. And I go, oh, my goodness, the last place I was at Aldi's, and I was just like praying the whole time. Well, I walked into Aldi's, I explained the situation to the girls there, and they said someone turned it in, and I was like, oh,
wow,
I don't believe it.
Oh,
that is
awesome.
It was a young woman. I had seen her previously because her baby was laying down in the cart, and I just wish that I could thank her, because she had obviously turned it in. And
wow.
So
listen, $100 to lose $100, that's that's a big deal for people.
And, it is. I mean, we worked hard for our money, and I really felt bad. I was so upset when I talked to my husband, and then I was, so happy when we found it. So if she's listening, I really appreciate her turning it in.
Well, that's a really awesome story, friend. Thanks for calling that one in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening.
Okay. I mean, that's the reality is that there's somebody out there. Speaking of Ilion, my grandmother, this was probably 10 years ago. My grandmother was in, when the Great American was still open in Ilion, my grandmother was in, and as the years would go on, my grandmother would get a little bit more forgetful, right? So, it was the day where she got her pension money, and it was all there in the envelope, sitting in her gigantic purse. And when she reached up for an item, she set the purse down on the floor, and then reached up to grab the item and came down. But somebody was quick enough to be able to reach right inside the purse and to take her entire envelope of money out. So that stuff, obviously that's thievery. The question would be, is that what this is? Somebody says, listen, we all know what the moral thing is to do, but what would you really have done? This person says, I found a wallet in a hotel driveway that was filled with cash. It was money for their daughter's tuition. And turned it in. Maybe someone thought they put in a 10 and it was a 100. It reminds me of the old days when people would forget to take change at the payphone. And then somebody else says, imagine if that money had belonged to someone who was elderly, like I'm telling the story about like my grandmother there. And
that's different, though. They reached into her purse.
I want to know what you think about this. And then this person says, money in ATM. Calling this an ATM. Money in ATM is same as money behind counter in a bank. It belongs to the bank until you draw it out. Personally, I would have returned it. Here's the deal. If it was a machine malfunction, it belongs to the bank. If someone took it out and left it, it belongs to that person, and they lost it.
And does it matter how much it is? So we're saying it's $80, but what if it was an extra $5? Would you turn that in, or would you go, it's just $5?
I think this is a great question. And what's the difference between this and I'm walking out in the parking lot and I stumble over a 20?
Well, there's no cameras in the parking lot.
Well, there you go. I mean,
I hate to say that. But for some people, that's going to be an issue. By the way, this store probably has not as many cameras as the casino, but it's probably up there. So this is a store that would be a national store and probably has loss prevention down pretty well.
And they probably have cameras on the self-checkout where you are.
Yeah, good, very well.
Here's what happens. You take 60 of the dollars, you give 20 to a homeless person, and then it all equals out.
This person says, who says that it wasn't going to be turned in at a later date? I believe the law is that you have 10 days to return it. This person might have been contacted by police before that, and at the end of the day, the person was arrested for petty larceny. By the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I think too. Also, somebody
because it was $80. I mean, what if, like Christine said, it was a 5 or a 20, just one 20?
Probably the 5 or 20 would not have warranted the customer that was beforehand to come back and say, oh, my God, I lost $80 at the store. So apparently the customer came back and said that she had lost $80 and forgot to grab her change. That's when they went back to the cameras, and they found the clear as day. They found the person. There were plenty of cameras, and they did a search and posted some pictures, and the person was charged with petty larceny.
Now, I know how I would handle it.
But it changes everything, doesn't it?
I would go right to the customer service.
But what this person is saying is, I was arrested on day 7. I have legally 10 days to return the money. I was going to return the money. What's to say that I wasn't going to return the money?
I think it's a good point. I think it's a great point.
I think also, too,
I was just going to clutch it in my hands for 9 days and then return it.
I just wanted to feel what it
was
like.
going back. I just wanted to know what it felt like. I've never had $80 at once before.
No, but so I think, too, somebody called up and made a good point. If you find, like, money in the parking lot or on the floor or something like that, and you return it to the store, and I think you have a certain amount of days until it becomes yours.
Well, let's talk about karma. And this is Andrew's thing on this whole thing. For Andrew, it would eat away in his mind.
Yeah, I'd be
and
too
eat
guilty.
away in his mind to the point where he would feel that if he gave it back, not only would Jimmy Karma not only not punish him, but maybe he'd be rewarded with a little bit of karma. Mm-hmm. That's how Andrew's
Or if he
looking at
didn't
it.
give it back, he'd have a heart attack, and he would blame it
he'd be
on
dead.
the fact that,
Hold on, I got a break here. Or what am I doing?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Okay, got to come back. Hold on tight to WIBX.